Welcome back to Echoes from the Motherland, where truth has no passport. I am Kuya.
And I'm Kevin. Today, we are digging into Africa's talent crisis. Not in theory, but we're going to be looking at it, with data and looking at some of the failures and what are some of the real fixes.
Let's start with the facts. An estimated 70,000 skilled professionals leave Africa every year. The Mo Ibrahim Foundation reports Africa loses $2 billion annually in the health sector alone. Nearly 10,000 Africans depart daily for opportunities abroad. Aren't these statistics fascinating, Kevin?
Very fascinating, to be honest. And, it's all fields, not just medicine, but also tech. For example, IFC found roughly 80% of funding of African startups flows from outside the continent. In the year 2022, African tech ventures raised about 3.3 billion US dollars, but over 80% of that came from foreign investors.
So, in short, what we're trying to say is Africa is exporting its best minds and ideas and re importing solutions at a premium. That's a formula for perpetual dependence. The talent is here, but the systems aren't. So, what is truly missing?
Sure, in my view, I'll just say it's one thing: institutions, institutions, institutions. What do I mean by that? Institutions is rules of the game. So we're not just thinking, the administration, the judiciary. No, like in totality, rules of the game, how players abide by the rules when they are playing in the markets and everything, basically in the economy. So in that regard, then, think about the Silicon Valley, for example, in the US. Its success isn't just brains, it's institutions. And you look at Stanford, you look at the venture-friendly laws, you look at intellectual property protections, you look at government contracts, all these things come to bear.
Meanwhile, Africa often has underfunded universities, weak patent protections, and inflexible legal systems. And Kenya, despite having one of the best legal systems in Africa, still is not good enough. Post-elections happen, they're wrongfully convicted. The system just does not truly work, quite honestly.
It does not. IFC, Partech, and others have pointed out that institutional voids undermine African founders, and this is definitely the case because when you look around, you can see that with the statistics that we've just pointed out, it seems to be making foreign founders seem less risky.
Now, without research and development funding, without patent courts, startup incentives, startup tax incentives, or accelerators, geniuses end up building abroad. Then we pay them back through foreign firms charging triple. So, how do we build systems that retain and empower our talent? Here are 5 actionable steps Africa can take in order to do this. Number 1, fund research and development institutions. Currently, Africa contributes just around 1% of the global research output, only 1%. South Korea, for example, outspends the entire African continent. What we need to do is target about 1.5 of the African GDP into research and innovation.
I second that. And secondly, we need to create talent-backed VC ecosystems. With about 80% of funding flowing in from abroad, we need sovereign funds and diaspora angels. And we do know that there are more than enough diaspora angels that would be willing to invest in Africa. So then the question becomes, why are we not there yet?
And number 3, we need to establish IP protection and patent courts. Without enforceable IP, ideas get stolen or discouraged. Pan-African patent frameworks could help alleviate some of this stress.
Absolutely. And number 4, I would look at university industry pipelines. Countries like Nigeria, Kenya, South Africa should incentivize partnerships between schools and businesses.
Lastly, diaspora return programs. The symbolic efforts like Ghana's year of return need economic substance. Now, that is a great step that Ghana has already initiated. We need a tax break for these folks. We need relocation grants for these folks. We need preferential contracts for these people. And I speak as an individual who would love to come back home and provide my talents and expertise to my people.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I do not know of any single African immigrant or black person, to be honest, who wouldn't love to go back, be a part of the growth of their people. And systems. So the question becomes, why is that not really happening? Because let's face it, it's not really happening, not at the level that we would wish it to. And the reason is systems. Systems do matter. I mean, when systems are in place, then it follows that people would be able to vote with their rationality, and it would make sense for them. But it seems not to be there yet. The other thing to consider is culture. We need to start asking ourselves, why is it that we are not there yet? What is it that is holding us back? So let's talk about mindset. It is not enough to build labs or, enact laws. We must reject the myth that success abroad is better than here on the continent. Because that in itself is being fed by other factors, and it's something that we need to start looking into. Like, why do we think that there's greener pastures? Why don't we see ourselves as better? Why don't we see anything that is on the continent as being worthy?
Absolutely. We need to celebrate our builders. We need to celebrate our engineers, our artists, our thinkers at home. Make it cool to stay and rewarding to return. We should be able to say, hey, look at this authentic African infrastructure. This is an architect who specializes in mud houses, for example. And again, Kevin, as you stated before, even the UK right now are trying to actually use mud housing and the roofing because it is now eco-friendly and it's now cool, when we should have perfected that technology by now, because that's where we had it in spades. And so we have to believe that what we're doing is actually next level. What we're doing is impactful. What we're doing can be exported. We need to have that belief in ourselves in order to actually get to the same level playing field as like the West, for example, or the Europeans.
Indeed. And we have to continue to build a better environment for our investors, our innovators. Because remember, again, even as we talk diaspora, we talk about return of the African immigrants who are out there. People do not just chase money. I mean, people chase environments where their ideas are protected and respected.
Africa does not need charity. It never has needed charity. Africa is one of the most resource rich places on the globe. So we need the infrastructure for her thinkers. We need to be able to make it so attractive that not only Africans go back home, but African Americans, Black people from all across the globe, and in fact, even our white counterparts, to say that, you know what, innovation is happening in Africa, I must not miss that. I want to be there because they're building the great next thing. And at some point, they will probably even make it home because it will be so attractive to them. That is exactly what we need.
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. So we are not just calling diaspora talent home. We are building a home worth returning to. We want to build a home so good, so attractive that all Black people of all creed look and say, you know what, I don't want to miss this bus. That really is the goal here. We need every talent we can get to build a home for us, to build the motherland, to make it as attractive as it can possibly be for us.
This is how we stop brain drain and start a brain rain. Drop a comment. Which institution, venture capital fund, patent court, R&D center should be the first to be built? Until next time, stay unshaken, stay grounded, and stay building Africa that we deserve. Thank you.
Thank you.